Have you ever heard that the presence or absence of the hymen is the ultimate proof of virginity? Well, let's debunk that myth today. The hymen, a thin piece of mucosal tissue that surrounds or partially covers the external vaginal opening, is often misunderstood. Many women have thin hymens that can be easily stretched or torn not just through sexual activity but also through non-sexual activities like riding a bike, doing gymnastics, or even using a tampon. Yes, you heard it right. These everyday activities can result in changes to the hymen, making it a highly unreliable indicator of virginity. Physicians around the world agree that the state of the hymen is not an adequate proof of virginity because of these very reasons. So, the hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity, contrary to popular belief. Ever taken a virginity pledge? Well, here's a surprising fact about it. It's been found that young individuals who commit to these pledges are equally likely to contract sexually transmitted diseases as those who do not. You might be thinking, how's that possible? Well, it's not about the pledge itself, but about the education and awareness that comes with it. The paradox here is that those who take these pledges often lack comprehensive sexual education, which leads to less awareness about their sexual health. This lack of awareness means they are less likely to know their STD status or to seek medical attention for STD symptoms. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? These pledges, meant to protect and preserve, might inadvertently lead to health risks due to a lack of knowledge and understanding. So, virginity pledges do not necessarily protect against STDs as some might believe. Did you know that the age of consent varies greatly across the globe? In some parts of the world, the age of consent is as low as 12, while in others it's as high as 21. This is the age that a person is legally considered capable of consenting to sexual activity. However, the most common age range worldwide falls between 16 and 18. It's important to note that these ages aren't arbitrary. They're based on a variety of factors including cultural beliefs, societal norms, and legal considerations. But what's clear is that there isn't a universally agreed upon age. This disparity highlights the complex nature of sexual consent and its implications on the understanding of virginity. With such a wide range of legal ages for consent, the concept of virginity becomes even more layered and complex. Therefore, the legal definition of when one can consent to sex varies greatly, further complicating the concept of virginity. Ever wondered where the concept of virginity came from and why it's so controversial? The idea of virginity, in its simplest form, is the state of never having engaged in sexual intercourse. However, the concept extends far beyond this definition and has been the subject of debate and controversy throughout history. One of the main reasons for this is that virginity is not quantifiable. There is no medical or biological definition of virginity, primarily because different people define sex differently. Most intriguingly, many scholars agree that virginity was, in fact, an invented concept. But why? Well, it was primarily used as a means to control female sexuality. In many societies, women were often viewed as commodities, and their value was, in part, determined by their perceived purity or virginity. This control over female sexuality was not just ideological, but also manifested in physical and intrusive ways. For instance, in the past, the United Kingdom conducted virginity tests on immigrant women from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The British government believed that virgins were less likely to lie about their reasons for immigrating, and thus this practice was used to determine the legitimacy of their claims. This practice, as invasive and dehumanizing as it was, continued until the late 70s. The concept of virginity was not just limited to common women, but also extended to the upper echelons of society. The British royal family, for instance, publicly announced that the virginal status of Diana Spencer was a significant factor in their selection of her to marry Prince Charles. This declaration highlights how deeply ingrained the concept of virginity was in societal norms, even in modern times. So, as we delve deeper into the concept of virginity, we find that it's more than just a physical state. It's a complex and controversial concept that has been used historically to control and regulate female sexuality. This control has manifested in various ways. from intrusive virginity tests to societal expectations and norms. So, the concept of virginity is more complex and controversial than it appears, with its origins and implications steeped in societal control of female sexuality. How has the concept of virginity been portrayed in a pop culture? In the realm of cinema, virginity is often depicted as a rite of passage, a milestone to be achieved, or sometimes even a burden to be lost. Movies such as Porky's, The Sessions, American Pie, The Rules of Attraction, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Almost Famous, Little Darlings, 16 Candles, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Where the Boys Are, and Cruel Intentions all explore this concept in various ways, sometimes humorously, sometimes poignantly, and sometimes controversially. These films reflect society's diverse and evolving attitudes towards this topic, from the reckless abandon of youth to the anxiety-ridden predicament of late bloomers. On a different note, let's consider the symbol of the white wedding dress. It's a common belief that the pristine hue of the bridal gown signifies virginity. However, this is more of a modern interpretation. Prior to the Victorian age, brides would marry in any color except black or red, black being associated with mourning and red with prostitutes. If anything, blue was the color chosen to represent purity, faithfulness, and even a nod to the Virgin Mary. It's fascinating how these symbols and their meanings can shift and change over the centuries based on societal norms and expectations. So, what does this all mean? Well, it underscores the fact that virginity is not a universal or static concept. It varies from culture to culture, from era to era, and even from person to person. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation, but rather a deeply personal and individual experience. As we've discovered, the concept of virginity is not as straightforward as it might seem. It's a complex and controversial topic that has evolved and continues to evolve over time. The dialogue around it is ongoing, and as long as we continue to discuss, debate, and question, we challenge the stereotypes and assumptions that can often surround this intriguing topic.